Hello everyone, and welcome back to another riveting deep dive from the team here at Day's Drama Digest, your ultimate source for all things dramatic, heart-wrenching, and utterly addictive in the world of daytime television. We're the passionate crew behind the TV channel that's dedicated to unraveling the tangled webs of soap opera intrigue, and today, we're turning our spotlight on one of the most compelling and unpredictable storylines currently unfolding in Days of Our Lives. That's right, folks are talking about Rachel Black's tumultuous journey. A saga that's been keeping us on the edge of our seats with its twists, turns, and emotional roller coasters. But hold on to your remotes, because it seems like Rachel's story might be hurtling toward an unexpected and potentially heartbreaking conclusion. Why do we suspect this? Well, buckle up as we explore the possibility that Brady Black, in a desperate bid to protect his daughter, could whisk Rachel away to a distant facility far beyond the borders of Salem, perhaps even the very same one where Philip Kyriakis once sought treatment for his own demons. This move would be aimed at shielding her from the poisonous influence of Sophia Curtis, whose manipulative grip has been tightening like a vice around young Rachel's life. Now, before we dive deeper into this speculation, let's pause for a moment and pose the question that's been buzzing in our minds and likely yours too. Do you think this dramatic exile could actually play out in Days of Our Lives? Could Brady's paternal instincts drive him to such extremes, ripping Rachel from the familiar chaos of Salem and thrusting her into an unknown world of recovery and isolation? We're eager to hear your thoughts in the comments below or on our social media channels. Let's discuss how this storyline might unfold, piecing together the clues from recent episodes and extrapolating the high-stakes drama that could lie ahead. After all, in the ever-shifting sands of Salem, nothing is ever truly set in stone, but the signs are pointing toward a seismic shift that could redefine Rachel's arc forever. To fully appreciate the gravity of this potential plot twist, we need to rewind and revisit the intricate backstory that's led us to this precarious juncture. As longtime viewers of Days of Our Lives will recall, Sophia Curtis has been at the center of a web of deception that's as intricate as it is insidious. For months on end, months that felt like an eternity in soap opera time, Sophia has been feigning an inability to speak, a calculated pretense that allowed her to lurk in the shadows, observing and manipulating those around her without the burden of verbal accountability. This charade wasn't just a minor fib, it was a full-blown scheme that ensnared multiple characters, pulling them into a vortex of lies, secrets, and moral compromises. And who did Sophia choose as her unwitting or perhaps not so unwitting accomplice? None other than the impressionable and fiery Rachel Black. It all started innocently enough, or at least that's how it appeared on the surface. Sophia, confined to the stark, echoing halls of Bayview Sanitarium, a place that seemed more than its fair share of Salem's troubled souls, finally let her guard down and revealed the truth about her faked mutism to Rachel. But this wasn't a moment of vulnerability, oh no. It was a strategic revelation designed to draw Rachel deeper into her orbit. Sophia, with her cunning eyes and whispered confidences, dragged Rachel into the heart of her schemes, turning the young girl into a co-conspirator. Rachel, perhaps blinded by a misguided sense of loyalty or the thrill of rebellion, began to weave her own threads of deception to protect Sophia. She lied to family members, covered up encounters, and even justified actions that she knew deep down crossed ethical lines. This alliance wasn't just a friendship, it was a toxic bond that festered like an untreated wound, infecting Rachel's judgment and pushing her toward behaviors that were increasingly out of character. Remember those tense scenes where Rachel was explicitly warned about the dangers of associating with Sophia? Authority figure aspirants, guardians, even fellow inmates at Bayview made it crystal clear Sophia was bad news, a whirlwind of negativity that could derail anyone's life, let alone a vulnerable child's. Stay away from her, they implored, their voices laced with urgency and concern. But Rachel, with the stubborn defiance that only a preteen in turmoil can muster, turned a deaf ear to these admonitions. She wouldn't listen, couldn't listen. Perhaps because Sophia represented something exciting in the otherwise monotonous routine of her confined existence. Instead of heeding the warnings, Rachel doubled down, continuing to cover for Sophia at every turn. She smuggled messages, fabricated alibis, and even participated in minor infractions that escalated the stakes. The camera would linger on Rachel's face during these moments, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and exhilaration, her lips pressed into a determined line as if to foreshadow the inevitable fallout. And fallout there was, building like a storm cloud over Salem. Enter Brady Black, Rachel's father, whose paternal radar has always been finely tuned to his daughter's well-being, even amidst his own personal dramas. Brady, portrayed with that signature intensity by actor Eric Martsolf, began to notice the subtle shifts in Rachel's demeanor. At first, it was small things, a furtive glance here and evasive answer there. But as the episodes progressed, the red flags multiplied. Sophia's negative influence became impossible to ignore, manifesting in Rachel's growing anger and rebellion. Picture this pivotal scene. Brady confronts Rachel about her forbidden friendship, his voice a thunderous mix of frustration and love. "You can't see her anymore," he declares, his hands gripping her shoulders as if to physically impart the weight of his words. Rachel's response? A volcanic eruption of fury. She screams, she stomps, she accuses him of not understanding her pain. Tears stream down her face. But beneath the emotion is a steely resolve born from Sophia's manipulative coaching. It's a heart-wrenching display, one that leaves viewers aching for both father and daughter. But the drama doesn't stop at emotional outbursts. Oh no, Days of Our Lives thrives on escalating conflicts. And Rachel's involvement takes a darker turn when she engages in outright wrongdoing. She knows deep in her conscience, she absolutely knows that stealing is wrong. It's a fundamental lesson drilled into every child. A moral boundary that's black and white in the eyes of society. Yet, under Sophia's sway, Rachel crosses that line. Perhaps it's a small item at first to trinket from Bayview's common area. Swipe to prove her loyalty or to facilitate one of Sophia's plots. The act itself is minor, but its implications are profound. It signals erosion of Rachel's moral compass. A slide into delinquency that's as alarming as it is tragic. Brady, witnessing this or learning of it through whispers in Salem's grapevine, is struck by a chilling realization this friendship isn't just problematic, it's a terrible, destructive force that's poisoning his daughter's soul. This is where our speculation ramps up to fever pitch. Brady, ever the protective father who's battled his own addictions and demons in the past, might decide that drastic measures are required, sending Rachel to another facility far removed from Salem's toxic undercurrent schooled. These Hail Mary pass to save her. And not just any facility, mind you. We're talking about a specialized treatment center. Perhaps the very one where Philip Kyriakis underwent his own arduous journey toward recovery. Philip's storyline, as fans will remember, was a masterclass in redemption arcs. He grappled with obsession, betrayal, and mental health crises, emerging from that distant haven a changed man, or at least changed enough for Salem's standards. By choosing such a place, Brady wouldn't just be isolating Rachel from Sophia. He'd be immersing her in an environment designed for healing, surrounded by professionals who could untangle the knots of influence that Sophia has tied around her psyche. Imagine the scenes that could unfold if this plot comes to fruition. Brady, his face etched with lines of worry and resolve, sits Rachel down for the talk. The room is dimly lit, perhaps in their family home or a sterile Bayview visiting area, hiding the intimacy and tension. "I love you more than anything, kiddo," he says, his voice cracking ever so slightly. "But this friendship with Sophia? It's destroying you. I can't watch that happen." Rachel's protests would be fierce subs, please. Maybe even accusations of abandonment. But Brady stands firm, arranging the transfer in secret to avoid interference from other Salem residents, who might have their own agendas. The drive to the airport or the long road trip out of town would be laden with silence, punctuated by Rachel's resentful glares and Brady's internal monologue of doubt. Is he doing the right thing? Will this save her or push her further away? Of course, this move wouldn't be without its ripple effects across the canvas of Days of Our Lives. Sophia, left behind in Bayview, might spiral into even more devious behavior, her schemes now fueled by abandonment and rage. How would she react to losing her protege? Perhaps she'd manipulate other characters, maybe even attempt to break out, or forge alliances with unlikely villains to reclaim her influence. Meanwhile, back in Salem, the Black family dynamics would shift dramatically. Kristen DiMera, Rachel's mother, with her own history of Machiavellian maneuvers, might clash with Brady over this decision. "How dare you take my daughter away without consulting me?" she'd hiss, her eyes flashing with that trademark DiMera fire. This could ignite a custody battle of epic proportions, drawing in lawyers, judges, and the ever-meddlers of Salem like E.J. DiMera or Sammy Brady. The courtroom scenes alone could span weeks, each testimony peeling back layers of family secrets and past sins. Let's not forget the broader implications for Rachel's character development. Sending her away can mark a turning point, allowing for a time jump storyline where she returns older, wiser, and perhaps transformed. Soap operas love a good aged-up character return, and Rachel's exile could set the stage for that. Picture her re-entering Salem as a teenager, bearing the scars of her experiences but armed with newfound resilience. Would she forgive Brady? Seek revenge on Sophia? Or uncover deeper truths about her family's tangled history? The possibilities are endless, each more dramatic than the last. But is this truly the end for Rachel as we know her? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? In the unpredictable world of Days of Our Lives, characters rarely vanish permanently. They simmer in the background, waiting for the perfect moment to resurface and upend everything. Yet this potential departure feels poignant. a culmination of arcs that have explored themes of influence, rebellion, and redemption. Rachel's story has been a mirror to the vulnerabilities of youth, showing how easily a child can be swayed by the wrong company. Sophia, as the antagonist in this tale, embodies the archetype of the corrupting force scarming on the outside, run within. Her pretense of mutism was a stroke of genius by the writers, allowing for nonverbal storytelling that relied on expressions, gestures, and the unspoken tension between characters. To add more layers, let's reflect on how this storyline echoes past narratives in the show. Think back to the days when young characters like J.J. Devereaux or Brady grappled with bad influences and parental interventions. J.J.'s descent into drug use and rebellion led to interventions that tested family bonds, much like what we're seeing with Rachel. Churro's kidnappings and manipulations highlighted the dangers lurking in Salem's underbelly. Rachel's arc feels like a modern iteration, infused with contemporary issues like mental health facilities and the psychology of toxic friendships. The writers have masterfully woven these elements, creating a tapestry that's both timeless and timely. As we speculate further, consider the emotional toll on Brady. This man has endured more than his share of tragedies, loves, betrayals, addictions. Sending his daughter away would be another scar on his heart, a decision born from love but laced with guilt. Night after night, he might stare at the ceiling, replaying memories of Rachel's laughter, her hugs, her innocent days before Sophia entered the picture. The show could delve into his therapy sessions or confessional moments with friends, like Marlena Evans, exploring the psyche of a father pushed to the brink. And what about Sophia's backstory? To make her influence more dramatic, let's expand on why she's so toxic. Perhaps her mutism pretense stems from a traumatic post-abandonment, abuse, or a failed scheme that left her scarred. By dragging Rachel in, she's projecting her pain, creating a cycle of dysfunction. This adds depth, making her not just a villain, but a tragic figure whose actions, while reprehensible, are understandable in the soap opera lens. Fans, we've seen similar exiles before. When Philip was sent away for treatment, it was a plot device that allowed for character growth off-screen, returning him revitalized. Could Rachel follow suit? Or might this be a red herring, with the storyline swerving towards Sophia's exposure instead? The suspense is killing us. In wrapping up this extensive analysis, we could go on for hours. Let's circle back to our initial query. Do you believe Brady will take this drastic step, banishing Rachel to a far-off facility to escape Sophia's clutches? Will this mark the end of Rachel's current chapter, or merely a pause before an even more explosive return? Share your predictions, theories, and reactions with us. Here at Days Drama Digest, we're all about fostering that community spirit, dissecting every plot twist with the fervor it deserves. As we sign off, remember, in Salem, today's goodbye could be tomorrow's dramatic hello. Stay tuned, keep watching, and let's ride this wave of intrigue together. Until next time, this is the team at Days Drama Digest, signing off with hearts full of soap opera passion.